Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is NEO Music Scene. My name is Jimmy Davis, and I'm here with a special guest. I'm with Tony De Rosa from the Association of International Champions. Tony, hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, Jimmy. It's great to be with you today.
So, Tony, tell me what is the AIC?
Sure thing. The Association of International Champions, as you just referenced, the AIC, is an association that represents just that, barbershop quartet international champions stemming from the Barbershop Harmony Society. So every year, the Barbershop Harmony Society has an international convention. They've been doing that for more than 80 years now. And at the culmination of the international contest week, it is a convention, but there are a couple of contests that go on through the course of the week, and the culmination of that is the naming of an international quartet champion. So since 1938, there have been international quartet
Wow.
champions named. Yeah, and soon into the lifeblood of the society, these as we amassed, because you can't repeat. It's a one and done kind of a thing. So we had this, accumulation of several quartet champs, and they decided to start forming essentially a past champs association, and it's grown into this thing called the Association of International Champions. I was inducted into the AIC back in 1993 after my first quartet champs won in 1992, because you have your reigning year championship, and then you're actually inducted into the association. So we gather throughout the year, doing a lot of educational outreach, promotion for the style of barbershop and for the Barbershop Harmony Society. And then we're doing we do a lot of off-site shows as well as the AIC, but our crown jewel, and certainly has been for the last many years, is our once a year big show that we do in association with the contest week at International, which this year is in Cleveland, Ohio, and we're thrilled to be visiting during the first week of July.
That's exciting. And speaking of that, they're visiting July 5th at Connor Palace Theater on Playhouse Square. So that's exciting. So who are the champions this year? Are they going to be there?
They will be there. Our reigning quartet champs, they won last year's contest. So I guess what would be our 2023 International Quartet champs. Their name is Midtown, and they've been on the barbershop scene individually for many, many years, been in competition since 2018 or 2019, I think, actually. And as when they first came on the scene, and they skyrocketed. They were I think fifth in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, and then second. Obviously the COVID years happened, but when we came together back in 22, they were second, and then they won last year. So they're going to be a part of our show as our current international champions, along with our other champions through our past history.
So, as the music director for it, how is it trying to put together the voices for 9 quartets to put together a show like this?
Yeah, it's a really unique offering because obviously, every one of us, the association itself is a collection of quartet champions, but the only way you're in the Association of International Champions is by winning a quartet championship, which represents 4 guys, competing as one entity. And so it's been a blast to be able to have this highlight amazing talent, from the barbershop world, and then trying to find ways to be really creative to show them and showcase them through the course of a show. And we're doing something a little differently this year with how we're setting up the show. Many of our previous shows have been what we would call kind of a parade of quartets, meaning we would have each quartet do a set of sorts, maybe a 10 or 15-minute set, and we'd pull all that together, and that would make the show. We'd have a collective song that we would all sing together, maybe at the beginning and the end. And we're doing a lot of that this year, but we're pacing it differently, and we're scening it differently throughout the course of the show, which should bring about a much more enjoyable, or not that anything hasn't been enjoyable in the past for our barbershop enthusiasts, but for both barbershop enthusiasts who will be with us obviously for the whole weekend or for the whole week, as well as people from the local community can come in and enjoy a themed show that I think is going to be a really, really fun night of acapella for sure. So it's not easy to put it together and vision it, but we do have some stuff that'll be more of a chorus setting. So we have quartet step outs throughout the course of the evening with the show, but also we have some collective numbers together that are going to be highlights for the show this year for sure.
So without getting too much away, according to the description, it's timeless rock classics this year. Can you give us any like indication on some of the classics that you're going to be
Yeah,
performing?
absolutely. So the first half of the show is a tribute to more of what I would say is a little bit more of a barbershop tribute, meaning our quartets are going to be singing things from their repertoire that they just love and have an affinity for, or some new material on their own as one-offs. And we'll also have some honoring moments, as we always do, our 75th anniversary champ celebration, 50th anniversary champ celebration, 25th anniversary champ celebration. But then the second half, obviously, I mean, you can't come to Cleveland and not put on the rock and roll hat. So that kind of is the inspiration for the whole show. Second half is going to be everybody dolled out in their favorite rocker wares, if you will, paying tribute to a lot of different decades of amazing rock and roll and pop songs. So our quartets are going to be highlighting songs from the eras of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We do have one more current rock and roll tune, I guess you would call it rock or pop tune, from 2016. But everything from Stevie Wonder to Queen is going to be on the stage. We also have some collective numbers that are going to be done from Aerosmith and Journey, and we're also doing, my gosh, Eye of the Tiger along the way. We're starting out with the harder rock and roll and We Will Rock You medley. That's actually going to, I
Nice,
think, bring
nice.
the house down. And I know when people would sit back and be like, how does a barbershop quartet do that? We have some amazing arrangers that have been able to stay true to the style of the songs, for sure, but pull it together from an acapella standpoint that showcases it in a really unique and different way. So we're super excited about the second half, not only because of the original content that's going to be there, original arrangements that are going to be there, but also how we're packaging it together to pay tribute to, this eclectic, side of music in a rock and roll and pop, from a pop and rock and roll standpoint. It's going to be a blast.
I was going to ask, like, and I think you may have already answered it. How do you take such a timeless thing such as barbershop quartet and modernize it to try and gain the popularity of like today's teenagers?
Yeah, it is a challenging thing, especially when probably the stereotype of the barbershop quartet is still, obviously celebrated in the, early 1900s and the turn of the century and so forth, and so much of the music comes to that. But in general, the society has been expanding our musical and creative bounds to be able to allow the harmonic structure that we celebrate from a barbershop standpoint, the barbershop chord that maybe so many people would immediately recognize, to be able to infuse that into more current titles along the way. So again, it's really come from a natural, I think, very organic um, uh, growth of arrangers who are arranging for barbershop and barbershop style and harmony, but trying to challenge themselves to make it work, if you will, with more contemporary titles. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. I think that there's a sliding scale with it, and there's some people that would go, no, this doesn't work. There are also some people who would say, no, this doesn't work because it ruins what barbershop is. But the end result is, especially an organization like the AIC, we pride ourselves on preserving barbershop and the barbershop style, but we also, are very much forward thinking into being an arts organization. And part of the artistic value of that is, yes, paying homage to our barbershop style, but it's also just creating and presenting wonderful content, mostly a cappella content, that, as you've mentioned, is going to appeal to a diverse audience of ages, ethnic backgrounds, and so forth. So we're doing everything we can to allow music to do what it's supposed to do, and that's to draw people in of all different shapes and sizes and makeups and backgrounds along the way, to simply be charged into harmony along the way. And that word harmony, it has a whole lot of meanings. It's a
Mhm,
literal,
mhm.
literal music, but obviously, world in harmony means hopefully better, happier people along the way. So.
Absolutely. That's great. What are some of the things you're hoping to do when you come to Cleveland?
Me personally,
Yeah.
well, my week in Cleveland is going to be saturated with festivities from the international, convention. I'm also singing in a competing chorus. I direct a
Oh, okay.
competing course, as well, that's going to be there for the week. And that's the case for so many of our attendees there. While we are thrilled to be able to visit different cities along the way, because our international convention is held at a different city every year. So many of us, again, we're barbershop enthusiasts. We're there to see friends and have a chance to connect with people that we haven't seen in a long time, as well as participate in activities, through the convention week. And I'm sorry if that's my mail going off. I apologize. I wasn't smart enough to turn that off before we
It's
started.
all good.
But that being said, one of the things that I know a lot of our AIC members are looking forward to, the afterglow, the after party, the cast party for our show on Friday night, July 5th, that we're going to have. It's an invitation only thing. We're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I was going to ask if that was the plan.
We're going to be celebrating an awesome night of harmony, sharing with hopefully more than 2,000 people, packing it out at Connor Palace, and then we're going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a few hours and hang out and
That's awesome.
sing together and socialize and have some hors d'oeuvres and some drinks along. I mean, it's just going to be a great time. So that, for me, as far as coming to Cleveland, now I have family from Cleveland, Ohio area from many, many years ago. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to, with everything that's going on, be able to get there. But I'm super excited to be able to take that stop to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Friday night. How cool is that?
That's going to be great. That's what one thing I ask every single person I interview is that, are you going to the Rock Hall when you're in town? Because that's
yeah, I mean, how can you not? And I definitely, if for some reason I didn't have an excuse to get there anyway, I would have probably found some window to be able to get over there to check it out, because it is obviously it's a huge draw, and it's iconic for anybody who listens and loves music. And I'm not sure if there's anybody around the world that doesn't. So you
for
got to
sure.
stop. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So, Tony, thanks so much for joining us. If you wanted to go check out the show, it is going to be at Connor Palace Theater at Playhouse Square, July 5th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. The tickets are available at playhousesquare.org. Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
Or if they want to head to aicgold.com, they can also go to grab tickets there as well. But man, getting people from the local community to come out and support it would be awesome. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate
Perfect. Thank you. Take care, y'all.
Take care.
Bye.